And that is how you say hello at AMG. Guys, I'm on the AMG Road Trip 2019 and I'm about to take an engine factory tour here at AMG. But rather than just me take it, why don't we take it together? So we're going to start off here. Across here we've got the showroom for AMG, but we're going to start off at the Performance Studio of AMG. Now this is where some very, very special things happen, and I'm going to show you everything inside right now. Now as we're going inside here, the Performance Studio is a place for custom AMGs, not just for customers, but even for F1 and beyond. Guys, we're in the AMG Performance Studio now. I'm going to show you the sample room in a minute where you get a real good idea, but just to show you a finished product, look what we've got here. We've got an almost orange Magno GTR one-off car that we are lucky enough to actually show you. Can't show you the other amazing stuff on that side. Let's just say there's some very custom pros. But just look at the finish. This car had to be completely dismantled. It came from factory in a different color, so it's not like ordering from the center of excellence. Here the car is dismantled, redone by AMG, put back together by AMG here at the Performance Studio. And you can see the result. An absolutely one-off GTR. Now I want to show you the sample room, which is where you can choose how you want your car to look and see all the cool stuff that they made over time in different finishes. Let's go and have a look at that now. Right guys, we're going to go inside the Performance Studio sample room now. It's one of my favorite places here in Affalterbach. So come in and I'll show you around. Now customization, it comes to the heart of an AMG customer because AMG cars are quite custom anyway. But when you want to go that extra mile, you come to the Performance Studio. And you always see very, very interesting things here. We've seen some that we can't show you. But in the sample room, you get to see some work. And I think they kind of show you the lengths that they can go to. So we've got a number of alloy wheel examples here. This stuff you would have seen like on the C63 Motorsport, for example. This you would have never seen anywhere else with the interesting carpets. There's a bunch more over there, which I will show you. I've taken close-ups of. There's an A45 vent as well in a very cool metallic green. And look at this. Solar beam yellow center console for a GT. Incredible is that? Now these are just some little details. I love steering wheels. You look at something like this, you wouldn't have seen that on any other AMG car, but it just fits. And the reason it fits, it's because it's been done here at Affalterbach. It's not been designed by anyone else. Now we showed you customization at a few other brands as well, but if you have an AMG, really you want to do it here. So again, center consoles, we've got Dynamica for the GT here. We've got chrome that you never would have seen, body color, etc. Even the vents in Dynamica, which look really good actually. More A45 parts in the rear there, and a number of different wheel finishes. I'm guessing the wood is from CLS Shooting Brake. I got a thumbs up from Alex. Good. I kind of know what I'm talking about. We've got different colors of carbon fiber as well. Check that out. It's like a yellowy gold one. Very cool. And then it compounds with body colors as well. This is like almost a Magno solar beam by the looks of it. But there's loads of them. Essentially, you can do whatever you want. You can, give your jacket and say, well, do this olive color on the car in satin. They're the mats that I mentioned earlier. Then, of course, Napa leather. I'm going to fall over in excitement. Any color you want. But again, this is not a limitation, just a suggestion. Now, this light here is very interesting. What it does, let's say we have a combination of things here, and you wanted your car in this blue with this leather. This light will change into the light of any place of the world at any time. So for example, dawn in a certain city, or sunset, or full daylight, and it gives you an example of what that color looks like in that type of light, which is great because this might look great in this light, but in another light you might not like it. Again, more customization. We've got like a family crest here. We've got a very different AMG headrest over here. The Affalterbach crest. Lovely, in a red stitch.
Do you have a family crest?
Yeah, it's this. And some really funky carbon fiber colors. But as we saw with the GTR outside, you can really do anything you want. You can take it as far as you want to take it. And that's really what Performance Studio is all about. But then you have to realize that the cost for something so individual to take apart a car and rebuild it is massive. In fact, I'll show you a couple of clips from some SLSs that AMG have done this on. It's on their YouTube channel as well, and you can see just how extensive it is and what the man hours must be, but the end result, perfection. So another function of the Performance Studio is taking care of the safety car. So here we've got the F1 safety car. It's of course a standard series production AMG GTR. It's got a few little differences. Inside the boot we've got a bunch of telemetry equipment which I won't bore you with. This is more interesting. You have a look at the light on top, which they've actually crafted quite a nice carbon fiber bridge for it to sit on top of. I'm assuming this is very lightweight to help with all the maneuvers that it has to do. Inside, again, pretty much series standard production. We've got the roll cage as you normally have in a normal GTR. You don't really need to change much on this car in order to make it a compliant safety car. But it's great that we can see this, touch it and have a look at it here today at the Performance Studio. For you F1 fans, enjoy. Here's another AMG engine tour tradition. When you've done the engine tour, which we're going to do later, you get an apple. And of course, Affalterbach, the crest of the town, is an apple. So we always eat apples. Anyway. So you guys, you've seen me do the A45 preview back in Sweden, in Arjeplog, I think it was. But what they really do out there all the time, every winter, is AMG Winter Sporting with the Driving Academy. And you can see the C63 race taxis here that they use for drifting. And why have we got these weird lights here? Well, when you're drifting in the snow, and they do it at night as well, you want to be able to see where you're going. That's why we've got lights that point that way and lights that point that way for maximum visibility. We also haven't got actual AMG brakes on these, and the reason we were told was to do with tyre sizes, to do with studded tyres, etc. We need smaller rims essentially for that to take off the series production brakes. But yeah, all of that is done here at the Performance Studio as well. So it's got quite a wide range of activity here at the studio. Now here we are within the AMG engine plant. Now of course what separates AMG from its competitors is the one man, one engine principle of every single engine being built only by one person from start to finish, and then proudly displaying their name on the engine at the end of the work. And there's three separate areas here that I want to tell you about. So guys, on the right of me here, we've got the dry sump engine production, so all the GTs, Aston Martin cars, engines as well, C63, so essentially stage one. And over there, where we're going to take you, is stage two, where the GT63, E63 and G63 engines are all built. So let's go and have a look at that now. So guys, now we are in the V8 production. This side of the line, as I said, deals with the stage 2 of the M177, and that is cars like the GT63S, E63S, G63, S63, etc. So what I've got here is an X290, that is GT63 V8. This is of course the version that produces those 640 horses, just like in my car, and you can see we've essentially got a near completed engine here. I love to show the hot Vs. They're nestled right inside the cylinder banks here to allow for that very quick engine response. This hasn't got the other bits I wanted to show you, but look, we've got a piston here from the 4 litre. And you can see kind of how it's made here. The size is a lot smaller than what we used to have in the 6.2 engine that was that big. And one really interesting highlight here is this is not cut, it's actually cracked. Now the reason for that is if it was cut, it would slide around a bit more and not be as solid in there. And plus the way it would have to be then sliced by the blade, it would mean that the shape would have to be oval. So what they do is they crack it instead, and you can see kind of the cracks in there, so that when it closes, there's no chance of any friction. And that means more efficient engine running. It's not uncommon in a piston to have that, but it's great to actually see and hold one in your hand like this. Now, another interesting part of AMG engine building is something called AMG Trace. All these computers and stuff that we see up here records every single measurement that the engine builders here do. So as many turns of the screw, every single element like that, you know, how many times, you know, this screw was turned here, how many times this was turned, etc. It's all recorded and it's kept for years and years. So if there's ever any problem with an engine, they can trace it back and see exactly what was done. So that's why everything is recorded here, every tool is recorded, and it's all done in a way to protect you, the customer, in the long term as well. And of course, development data for AMG. Right guys, so we've got V8 here. We're going to install pistons into the cylinder banks. I've seen this happen from far away. I've never actually had these with the shoes as well. weird safety on. Oil being lubricated to allow the piston to slip in. Now around the compression rings and the oil rings as well. Now that looks easy to do, but that takes a lot of practice and a lot of training to be able to slip that in. Should we add one more and make it the first AMG V9? Right guys, I've been very kindly let by our engine builder friend here to crank the engine. So we're going to show you two here. One view is something that you'll never see, that's the inverting bit. And the reason they do this at this point is to kind of feel and listen how these main components that are now together, how they're functioning, how they're feeling. And with their experience, they kind of understand what's going on. I will have absolutely no idea. So, is it this way?
Clockwise, yeah.
Yeah? Clockwise. And there you go, you can see components moving. How fascinating is that? These bits were just installed right in front of us. They're moving around. Our tour guide, he's got a great sense of humour, Alex. He said, don't do it too fast, the engine might turn on. And for 2 seconds I was like, why, you're joking? Right, sorry. Yeah. Now, should we invert it?
Yes, of course.
And now, again, this is something that we perhaps don't understand or see a lot, is how the pistons actually move in reality. It's not all at the same time. So again, if we go clockwise, look at that. It's poetry in motion. I could watch this all day. Now we're going to move upstairs. We've seen a lot of the V8 production engine in lots of videos, but let's again have another look at the awesome new 4-cylinder plant, which is the future for AMG. So guys, you've seen this place before when we did the tech day and we showed you the brand new A45S engine. And of course you've seen this gentleman before as well, who's been on the channel many times, our friend and our colleague Mike. How you doing, buddy? Good. You right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah, I'm good. Always good to see you, man. Always good to be here at AMG. So this is the first time that you and I have done something here, which is great. Yeah. Hopefully not the last time. And this time it's in a very new place. So how quiet is this
Very
area?
quiet.
Huh? This is Industry 4.0,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Plus AMG.
Yes.
So as a working environment, how, you work in this. I mean, you helped, with the development of this engine, and of course you're helping building it, as we saw some of the press cars with your name on it. What's it like working here compared to like downstairs in your early days?
It's an honor to work here.
Yeah?
Definitely,
Yeah?
definitely.
Is it
Very,
quite
very,
different?
very cool place.
Yeah.
The technical stuff,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah, I mean the
Definitely.
drones driving around and
Yeah.
following you,
Yeah.
and less clutter everywhere, less noise. It's got to be a more pleasant working environment, right? I love how you have the reduced clutter above your guys' heads, and then of course you've got the drone cabinets that follow you with the parts rather than having parts on the side. Then of course we've got this now, the most powerful 4-cylinder production engine in the world. A very impressive thing. Last time that I saw it, I hadn't driven the car. When you drive it, what a beast. So can we take this off and have a look
Yeah,
inside?
of course.
So there is the engine cover. So the engine's done a 180-degree shift now, hasn't it, compared to the previous 45 engine? We've got the airflow that goes through here,
Yes.
and then that cools what exactly?
Full support.
Cools the turbo. So we've got twin-scroll turbo here, which is akin to the turbos that we have like in the E63, E63S, etc. What else has changed? You're the expert, you can tell us.
We have 2 injections.
Two different
this
types of
engine.
injection systems,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've got the piezo injectors,
Yeah.
which we've had before, and then the other injection system around the front.
Yes.
Then there's loads of different types of cooling in this, isn't there?
Yes.
Because the
3
previous
types.
engine were like, we were pushing it, it would get like quite hot.
Yeah.
But now we've got 3 types. So
Yeah.
we've got water cooling,
Yes.
oil cooling, and then I guess
Yeah.
this aerodynamic feature within the engine cover itself, right?
Yeah.
So what does the S model produce then in terms of power?
421 horsepower.
Which is crazy for a
Yeah.
4-cylinder.
2-liter engine.
And the other great thing about this engine, guys, is you would expect with a big turbo that it's all or nothing in the power delivery,
Yeah.
like nothing and then it goes, flatlines. When you drive it, and I really encourage you that you drive it, unlike a lot of comments you might have seen from some reviewers, it feels like a natural engine. and you push it, and you keep pushing it, and it gives you the feeling of the 4-litre V8. And it's amazing how they haven't got any lag within just a single turbo.
Yeah.
I mean, part of that is the twin scroll, right?
Twin scroll.
But,
yes.
I mean, I could imagine some very interesting application of this in the future,
Yeah.
which Mike's not going to tell us anything about, but, you know, theorize away, please. But yeah, there's a little look, again, if you want to see the full look of this particular area. We've, of course, done that tech day video. I'm not going to ruin this, let Mike do it. Shame that hasn't got your name on it, but it's fine. You're all a family, right? Mike, thank you again, man. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And there you go, guys. There's a very little but interesting look behind the scenes at this wonderful new plant here at AMG. Of course, we will try and come here again and show you some more little interesting things, not always the same, always a little bit different. It's always a pleasure to come here. Thank you to Alex, our tour guide. So if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe as always, and you're going to see a lot more of this engine and us in the future. See you guys.
Bye.